There comes a time in the life of every believer when God prepares to pour out His favor and abundance, but many miss the signs because they don't know what to look for. The scriptures are filled with moments where God's blessings follow particular events, emotions, and situations in our lives. So today we are going to explore 7 signs that God is about to bless you, so you can recognize His movements and position yourself to receive. When it comes to divine timing, we must understand that God's timing is not like ours. In fact, one of the most challenging aspects of walking with God is aligning ourselves with His schedule rather than our own. We often desire immediate results, instant gratification, and quick rewards, but God's process is deliberate and intentional. He is never late, nor is He early. He arrives at the perfect moment, and His blessings come exactly when we are ready to receive them. God's timing is rooted in His omniscience. He knows everything past, present, and future, so His decisions and timing are based on knowledge that we do not possess. This means that while we may feel frustrated or impatient in the waiting, God is orchestrating every detail for our good. He is aware of circumstances we cannot see both within us and around us, and He uses time to prepare us, to mold us, and to bring us into alignment with His perfect will. It's important to note that a delay in receiving a blessing is not a denial. When God makes us wait, it is not because He is withholding good from us, rather. It is because He is ensuring that we are in the right position emotionally, spiritually, and sometimes even physically to handle the blessing. Throughout Scripture, we see that God's timing is key in the lives of His people. Think about Joseph, who had a dream that he would be a ruler, but had to wait years before that dream came to pass. During that waiting period, Joseph was betrayed by his brothers, sold into slavery, falsely accused, and imprisoned. From the outside, it might have looked like Joseph's life was falling apart, but in reality, God was strategically positioning him for his destiny. Every step, every challenge, and every delay was part of God's plan to mature Joseph and place him exactly where he needed to be at the right time. Similarly, in our own lives, God often allows us to experience setbacks, delays, and challenges as part of His divine preparation. When we experience these, it is easy to think that God has forgotten us, that our prayers are going unanswered, or that the blessings we hope for will never arrive. But we must remember that God is not constrained by time the way we are. His plans are eternal, and He operates on a higher plane of understanding. Our job is not to question the timing, but to trust in His process. Each moment of waiting is a step toward the fulfillment of what He has promised. A crucial aspect of understanding divine timing is recognizing that the waiting season is not wasted. Many people believe that during times of waiting they are stagnant or stuck, but this couldn't be further from the truth. Waiting on God is active. It requires us to continue growing, serving, and preparing for what is to come. God uses these periods to develop our character, to strengthen our faith, and to teach us patience and perseverance. Just as a farmer plants seeds and then waits for the harvest, trusting that the growth will come in its due season, we too must trust that God's timing will bring forth the blessings He has promised. And just as the farmer cannot rush the process, neither can we rush God's plans for our lives. There is also a protective element in God's timing. Sometimes what we desire is not wrong, but the timing for it is not right. God knows this, and in His mercy, He shields us from premature blessings that we are not yet prepared to handle. If He were to bless us too early, the very thing that was meant for our good could become a burden. Imagine giving a child a powerful tool that they are not yet mature enough to use. What was intended to be a gift could become dangerous in the wrong hands. Similarly, God ensures that His blessings come to us when we are fully equipped to steward them well. Moreover, divine timing teaches us to depend on God fully. When we cannot control the timing of our breakthrough or our blessing, we are forced to surrender our own agendas and rely completely on His guidance. This dependence deepens our relationship with Him and increases our sensitivity to His leading. We begin to recognize that every moment in the waiting is an opportunity to grow closer to Him, to trust Him more, and to understand His heart for us in a deeper way. Recognizing divine timing is about developing a posture of trust and submission. When we align ourselves with God's timing, we are essentially saying, God, I trust that you know what's best for me. I trust that you are working all things together for my good. And I trust that when the time is right, you will release the blessings you have for me. This level of trust requires us to lay down our need for control and embrace the mystery of God's perfect plan. It is a journey of faith, one that refines us and prepares us for the abundance that He has already set aside for us. A deep sense of restlessness in your spirit is often one of the most subtle yet powerful signs that God is preparing to bless you. This restlessness is not to be confused with anxiety or unease born from fear or worry, but rather a divine stirring within your soul, signaling that something profound is about to shift. It's as if your spirit knows before your mind does that a new season is approaching, and this internal discomfort is meant to awaken you to the movement of God's hand in your life. This restlessness typically begins as a quiet feeling, perhaps a sense that where you are or what you are doing no longer fits. You may feel dissatisfied with circumstances that once brought contentment, or you may sense a call towards something more, even though you can't fully define what that is. This is the Holy Spirit gently nudging you, creating a yearning within you for the new thing that God is about to do. It's important to pay attention to this feeling because more often than not, it is a precursor to a significant blessing or transformation. The restlessness you feel is a sign that God is stretching you, preparing you to step into a new level of faith, purpose, or opportunity. It often occurs right before a breakthrough, as God begins to shift the atmosphere around you to align with His next step for your life. Think of it as divine discontent. This feeling isn't meant to frustrate you, but rather to push you out of your comfort zone and into the realm of faith. God rarely allows us to stay comfortable when He is about to bless us, because comfort can lead to complacency, and complacency stifles growth. Instead, He disturbs the status quo to get your attention and to prompt you to seek His will with greater intensity. In this period of restlessness, you might notice a few things happening internally. You may begin to question areas of your life that you previously took for granted. You might feel a desire to grow spiritually, to seek God more earnestly, or to dive deeper into understanding His purpose for your life. This stirring is God's way of preparing you for the new season He is bringing you into. He often uses this time to refine your character, prune away the things that no longer serve you, and increase your dependence on Him. You may also feel a sudden loss of interest in certain pursuits or relationships that once seemed important. This is because God is redirecting your focus to align with His plan. One of the key aspects of this restlessness is that it can feel uncomfortable. We are naturally inclined to avoid discomfort, but in this case, the discomfort is not meant to harm you. It is a divine signal that change is coming and that you need to be prepared. Often, people misinterpret this restlessness as a negative experience, thinking they are in the wrong place or doing the wrong thing. But in reality, God is not saying that you failed or that you're off track. He's simply telling you that a shift is about to occur and you need to get ready. This internal stirring is a call to action. It's a sign that you need to start positioning yourself for what God is about to do. In this season, it's crucial to seek God more intentionally through prayer, meditation, and time spent in His Word. These spiritual disciplines will help you discern the direction in which He is leading you. The restlessness you feel is not random. It's a purposeful move by God to get you into alignment with His plan. Pay close attention to what He's speaking to your heart during this time. It's in these moments of divine agitation that God often reveals the next steps you need to take. Additionally, this restlessness can also manifest in a desire to break free from old patterns or routines. You may feel an urge to do something different, to explore new opportunities, or to take risks that you might not have considered before. This is God's way of expanding your vision and pushing you toward the new blessings He has prepared for you. It's important not to resist this stirring or try to quiet it by sticking to what's familiar. Instead, embrace the restlessness as a sign that God is moving you into a new season of growth and abundance. You may also notice that during this time of restlessness, God begins to remove certain obstacles from your path or bring new opportunities into your life. This is often a confirmation that the restlessness you feel is indeed from Him and not just a product of your own mind. God will start to open doors that were previously closed, and He will create pathways for you to walk into the blessing He has already set aside for you. The key is to remain sensitive to His guidance and to act in faith when He prompts you to move. Sometimes the restlessness can feel like a season of transition where things are unclear. This is where faith comes in. Trust that God is using this period to prepare you for the blessing that is on its way. He is aligning circumstances, people, and opportunities, and though you may not see the full picture yet, this restlessness is evidence that something new is unfolding. It's an invitation to trust God on a deeper level, to lean not on your own understanding, but to acknowledge Him in all your ways as He directs your path. The restlessness you feel in your spirit is not something to be feared or dismissed. It is one of the most profound signs that God is about to bless you. This divine stirring is meant to awaken you, to prepare you, and to push you toward the new things God has in store. As you navigate this season of internal disquiet, trust that God is positioning you for something greater and allow Him to lead you into the next chapter of His divine plan for your life. One of the most telling signs that God is preparing to bless you is when you find yourself facing unusual levels of resistance. This opposition can manifest in various forms, whether it's spiritual warfare, personal challenges, financial difficulties, or relational struggles. It can feel like everything around you is falling apart, and no matter how hard you try, you seem to be encountering obstacles at every turn. However, it's essential to understand that this resistance is not a sign that you are on the wrong path. Rather, it is often an indication that you are on the verge of a breakthrough. When God is about to bless you, the enemy will try to disrupt that blessing by throwing every possible distraction, challenge, and difficulty your way. This resistance is designed to make you doubt yourself, doubt your calling, and ultimately doubt God's plans for you. It's a tactic used to derail your progress, to wear you down, and to cause you to give up just before your blessing arrives. The enemy knows that once you step into the fullness of what God has for you, his influence over your life will diminish. So he fights you the hardest when you're closest to your breakthrough. The key to overcoming this resistance is recognizing it for what it truly is, a sign that God is about to do something significant in your life. Instead of allowing the opposition to discourage you, use it as confirmation that you are moving in the right direction. The level of resistance you face is often directly proportional to the size of the blessing that is on its way. If the enemy is working overtime to stop you, it's because he sees the magnitude of what God is preparing to release in your life. Biblical history is filled with examples of people who faced immense opposition just before they received their breakthrough. Think about Moses, who was tasked with leading the Israelites out of Egypt. He faced numerous challenges from Pharaoh, who refused to let the people go, and even from the Israelites themselves, who doubted his leadership. But Moses persisted, trusting in God's promise, and eventually led the Israelites to freedom. Similarly, David faced opposition from King Saul, who sought to kill him, yet David remained steadfast in his faith and ultimately became king. In both cases, the resistance they encountered was a precursor to the blessings they would receive. It's important to note that resistance doesn't only come in the form of external challenges. Sometimes the opposition we face comes from within. When God is preparing to bless us, we often experience internal struggles, doubts, fears, and insecurities that rise to the surface. These internal battles can be just as intense as external ones. You may begin to question whether you're worthy of the blessing or whether you're capable of handling the new opportunities that God is bringing your way. This internal resistance is a tactic used to cause you to shrink back from the very things God has called you to do. In these moments, it's critical to remind yourself of God's promises. God has not called you to something that He will not equip you to handle. The opposition you face is not a reflection of your inadequacy, it's a reflection of the enemy's fear of what you will accomplish when you walk fully in your God-given purpose. This is why it's essential to keep pushing forward, even when it feels like the weight of the world is against you. The resistance is temporary, but God's blessings are eternal. When you encounter resistance, one of the most effective ways to combat it is through prayer and spiritual warfare. Recognize that this is not just a physical or emotional battle, but a spiritual one. Ephesians 6:12 reminds us that we wrestle not against flesh and blood, but against spiritual forces of evil. Therefore, we must equip ourselves with the full armor of God, truth, righteousness, faith, and the Word of God to stand firm against the enemy's key enemies. When we pray and declare God's promises over our lives, we tap into His power and authority, which far surpasses anything the enemy can throw our way. Another crucial aspect of dealing with resistance is surrounding yourself with a supportive community. God often places people in our lives who can pray with us, encourage us, and offer wisdom during times of struggle. These individuals can help us stay focused on God's promises when the opposition feels overwhelming. Isolation can make resistance seem even more daunting, but when we lean on others and allow them to stand with us in faith, we gain strength to keep pressing forward. It's also important to maintain perspective during times of resistance. Often when we are in the midst of a battle, it's easy to focus solely on the struggle and lose sight of the bigger picture. But if we step back and view the resistance from a spiritual perspective, we can see that it is simply a part of the process. Just as a runner faces the greatest challenge in the final stretch of a race, we often encounter the most resistance just before we cross the finish line and step into God's blessings. This resistance is not meant to stop us, but to refine us, to build our character, and to strengthen our faith. Ultimately, resistance is a sign that God is moving in your life, that He is preparing to release something significant into your hands. The enemy's efforts to hinder you are futile in the face of God's sovereignty. God's plans will always prevail, and no amount of opposition can thwart what He has ordained for you. Your job is to remain steadfast, to trust in His timing, and to keep moving forward, even when the resistance feels overwhelming. In conclusion, facing unusual levels of resistance is a clear indication that you are on the verge of a breakthrough. The challenges you encounter, both external and internal, are signs that God is about to bless you in a profound way. Instead of being discouraged by the opposition, embrace it as confirmation that you are on the right path. Strengthen your faith, stand firm in prayer, and trust that God's blessings are just around the corner. When God is preparing to bless you, one of the clearest signs you may notice is the alignment of seemingly random events. These are moments where circumstances, people, and opportunities begin to come together in ways that are beyond coincidence. It's as if the universe is orchestrating events for your favor, but the truth is, it's God's divine hand behind the scenes, weaving things together to bring His plans to fruition. These alignments are not accidents, they are intentional, purposeful, and often unexpected indicators that a blessing is on its way. One of the remarkable things about God is His ability to work through every situation in your life, no matter how small or insignificant it may seem at the time. Sometimes we go through life making choices and experiencing events without fully understanding how they connect. But when God is getting ready to bless you, those random pieces start fitting together like a puzzle, revealing a much bigger picture than you could have imagined. This alignment often becomes evident in hindsight, but even while it's happening, you may sense that something extraordinary is unfolding. These divine alignments can come in many forms. Perhaps you meet someone who introduces you to an opportunity that changes your life. Or maybe you stumble upon a resource that answers a question you've been praying about for years. Sometimes doors that were once closed begin to open, and things that didn't make sense before suddenly start to fall into place. In all of this, God is showing you that He is in control, that He has a plan, and that His timing is perfect. One of the reasons this alignment occurs is because God works in seasons. Ecclesiastes 3:1 reminds us that to everything there is a season and a time for every purpose under heaven. When your season of blessing is approaching, God begins to align the necessary elements to bring His plan to pass. You might have been waiting for years, wondering why certain prayers haven't been answered or why certain opportunities haven't materialized. But during that waiting period, God was working behind the scenes, preparing everything for the right moment. Often this alignment happens in such a way that it leaves no room for doubt that it is God's doing. The connections are too precise, the timing too perfect, and the circumstances too aligned to be mere chance. It becomes clear that something far greater is at work. These moments are designed to increase your faith, to remind you that God sees you, knows you, and is intimately involved in every detail of your life. He is not a distant observer, but a loving Father who is orchestrating every moment to bring you into the fullness of His blessing. Sometimes these divine alignments come after a period of difficulty or waiting. You might have felt stuck, like nothing was moving in your life. But just when you least expect it, things begin to shift. You meet the right people, the right doors open, and the right opportunities come your way. What once felt like a season of stagnation suddenly turns into a season of acceleration. This is often God's way of making up for lost time. The Bible says in Joel 2:25, "I will restore to you the years that the locusts have eaten." When God aligns things for your blessing, He not only gives you what you've been waiting for, but often exceeds your expectations, restoring everything you thought you had lost. It's important to remain sensitive and aware during these times of alignment. Many people miss their blessings because they fail to recognize the significance of the connections and opportunities that come their way. When God is aligning things in your favor, it's essential to be prayerful and discerning, asking God to show you His plan and guide you through the process. Sometimes these alignments require you to take action, step out in faith, and seize the opportunities presented to you. At other times, they may require patience as you wait for the full picture to be revealed. In either case, your trust in God's timing and plan is crucial. Another important aspect of this alignment is that it often comes through people. God uses relationships and connections to bring about His purposes in your life. You may find that certain individuals are brought into your life at just the right moment, offering guidance, support, or opportunities that align with what you've been praying for. These people may come from unexpected places, and their involvement in your life might feel divinely orchestrated because it is. God is the ultimate networker, and He knows exactly who needs to be part of your journey toward blessing. As things begin to align in your favor, it's also important to stay humble and give credit where it's due. It's easy to get caught up in the excitement of things falling into place and forget that it's all part of God's plan. But every blessing, every open door, and every aligned event is a result of God's grace and favor. Maintaining a posture of gratitude keeps you grounded and reminds you that without God's intervention, none of these things would have happened. The alignment of random events is not only a sign that God is about to bless you, but also a reminder of His sovereignty and faithfulness. It's His way of showing you that He is always working, even when you can't see it. He is constantly aligning things behind the scenes, preparing you for the moment when everything will come together and His blessings will manifest in your life. Your job is to trust Him, remain faithful, and stay ready for the moment when all the pieces fall into place. When you see random events aligning in ways that seem too perfect to be coincidence, take it as a sign that God is preparing to bless you. These alignments are part of His divine plan, showing you that He is at work in your life, moving things into position for your favor. Stay sensitive, prayerful, and open to what God is doing, and trust that His timing is perfect. He is aligning everything for your good, and the blessing that is on its way will be worth every moment of waiting. A deep sense of inner peace, even amidst external chaos, is one of the most profound signs that God is about to bless you. It may seem counterintuitive to experience calmness when things around you are turbulent or uncertain. But this peace is not ordinary, it is a supernatural assurance, a knowing in your spirit that God is in control and that everything is working according to His divine plan. This peace transcends understanding and serves as a powerful confirmation that God's blessing is imminent. When God is preparing to bless you, He often grants you this inner peace as a way of guiding and comforting you. You may be in the middle of a challenging season, facing difficulties in various areas of your life, your health, finances, relationships, or career. From the outside looking in, it might seem like you have every reason to worry or be anxious. Yet in your heart, there is a stillness, a quiet confidence that defies the circumstances. This peace is a gift from God, a sign that He is working behind the scenes and that you are about to walk into something extraordinary. This peace doesn't come from your own efforts or positive thinking. It's not something you can conjure up on your own. Rather, it comes from a deep place of trust in God. Philippians 4:7 speaks of this peace, describing it as the peace of God, which surpasses all understanding. It guards your heart and mind, keeping you grounded and focused even when everything around you seems uncertain. This peace is rooted in faith, in the belief that God's timing is perfect, that His plans for you are good, and that He is faithful to fulfill His promises. One of the reasons this inner peace is so significant is because it indicates that you have aligned your will with God's will. When you surrender control to God and trust that He knows what's best for your life, you experience peace. It's a shift from striving and struggling to trusting and resting in His sovereignty. This doesn't mean that challenges will disappear or that everything will instantly fall into place, but it does mean that your spirit is no longer troubled by the unknown. You have a calm assurance that God is working all things together for your good, and this peace is a sign that His blessing is on the way. This inner peace also acts as a compass, guiding you through decisions and transitions. When you are on the verge of a breakthrough or a significant blessing, you may be faced with important choices that require discernment. God often uses His peace to confirm the direction you should take. If you feel anxious or unsettled about a decision, it may be a sign to wait or reconsider. On the other hand, if you feel a deep sense of peace about a choice, even if it doesn't make sense logically, it's likely that God is leading you in that direction. His peace serves as an internal confirmation that you are on the right path and that His blessing is near. This peace also strengthens you in times of waiting. Often, when we are waiting for a blessing, we can become impatient, anxious, or doubtful. We want to know when and how God will move, and the uncertainty can be overwhelming. However, when God grants you inner peace, it allows you to wait with confidence. You may not know all the details, but you trust that God is orchestrating everything according to His perfect plan. This peace keeps you from making hasty decisions out of fear or impatience and helps you remain steadfast in your faith. It's important to understand that this peace is not tied to external circumstances. The world around you may still be chaotic, and the problems you face may not immediately go away. But this peace is a reminder that your security doesn't come from external factors, it comes from God. It's a deep, unshakable trust that no matter what happens, God is in control, and He is faithful to fulfill His promises. This peace is a shelter, a place of refuge in the midst of the storm, and it is a clear sign that God is preparing to bless you. Another remarkable aspect of this inner peace is that it often affects those around you. When you are walking in God's peace, it becomes evident to others. People may notice that you are calm, composed, and confident, even in difficult situations. Your peace becomes a testimony of God's faithfulness and power. It can inspire others to seek God and trust Him more deeply. In this way, your peace not only benefits you, but also serves as a blessing to those around you. This peace also helps you to remain focused on what truly matters. When God is about to bless you, distractions and temptations may arise, trying to pull you away from your purpose. But the peace of God acts as a guard over your heart and mind, keeping you centered on Him. It helps you avoid being swayed by the opinions of others or by temporary setbacks. Instead, you remain focused on God's promises, knowing that His blessing is on the horizon. This peace empowers you to stay committed to your faith journey, even when the road ahead seems uncertain. When you experience a deep sense of inner peace despite external chaos, it is a powerful sign that God is about to bless you. This peace is a gift from God, a supernatural assurance that He is in control and that His plans for you are unfolding. It serves as a confirmation that you are aligned with His will and that His blessing is imminent. This peace enables you to navigate challenges with confidence, make decisions with clarity, and wait with patience, knowing that God's timing is perfect. It is a reminder that true peace comes from trusting in God, and it is one of the clearest signs that His blessing is on the way. In conclusion, when God is preparing to bless you, He often provides clear signs that are both spiritual and practical in nature. You may experience intensified spiritual warfare, but this is a reminder that greater things are coming, as the enemy always fights hardest before a breakthrough. The desire for deeper connection with God emerges as you prepare to receive His blessings, signaling alignment with His will. You may also notice seemingly random events aligning, showing that God is orchestrating circumstances in your favor. Lastly, a deep sense of inner peace, even amidst chaos, confirms that God is working behind the scenes and that His timing is perfect. These signs collectively point to the fact that God's blessing is near, and as you remain faithful, trusting His plan, you will walk into the fullness of what He has prepared for you.